I'm back. Did you miss me? No? No. Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to the Quarter Life Crisis Project. My name is Ryan Ricardella and I am so glad you're here, and I'm so glad I'm here. I'm so excited to be back. For those of you who may not know, I'm just coming off a 30-day social media hiatus. You can take a look at this card and also put a link to that video in the description below for some context as to why I took a break from social media, but I am officially back. The hiatus has actually been a little bit longer than 30 days. We're at about 6 weeks now. And the reason that I prolonged the break was because, get ready for it, I didn't miss social media. I didn't feel the urge to go back online. I mean, I lived on Instagram and then I just didn't think about it anymore. It was absolutely incredible. Take a look at some of the observations I documented during the hiatus. Candidly, there's not a ton there because I forgot to film a lot. Because I forgot I was doing this hiatus, because I forgot about social media. Like, again, super crazy. But there are some interesting insights in there, and then on the flip side of those observations, I will share my 3 biggest takeaways and how I'm going to be adjusting my social media habits as a result of those takeaways. Take a look. So it is the first morning without social media, and I'm already noticing some problematic habits, i.e., I keep opening my phone and then stopping and then being like, what was I gonna do? And then being like, oh yeah, I was gonna open Instagram. Like, the amount of times that I am realizing now that I've done that automatically is crazy. Like, you have this flow, right? This kind of hardwired process of just opening Instagram, not even thinking anything about it. And as soon as that's disrupted by Instagram not being there anymore, you realize how many times you do it. I'm so fascinated and ashamed at the response I'm having already, and we're at day 1. So let's hope this gets easier.
I also just had the thought of oh, let me post to my story about how much I'm struggling with not opening social media. Can't do that.
So, update. Despite looking disheveled and war-torn, I am fine. It's Labor Day today, and so I slept in late and just enjoying a slow morning. But I am surviving, borderline thriving, really doing okay without social. I mean, so far this week I have found myself a couple times thinking oh man, I should post that to my story, and then realizing I can't, or finding someone or seeing someone on TV and wanting to look them up on Instagram or something, and then realizing that I can't. So there have been a few times where I bumped up against it, but there really hasn't been this just insane need to have to indulge in it. But one thing I realized is that I still kept YouTube on my phone and had been watching YouTube videos and haven't really been sure if that counted. But I'm deciding that it does. So I haven't been engaging with my YouTube channel at all. I haven't checked on the channel, haven't seen what's been happening or posted anything. But I've still been watching YouTube videos as a form of just media. But I do think that they're, again, having a similar effect, not the same effect, but they're taking up some of my time that I probably shouldn't let it. So I'm deleting YouTube as well. Let me know in the comments below if you think YouTube counts as social media. And I'll let you know how that goes too, but bye-bye YouTube. So I only have about a week left without social media, and something interesting happened to me the other day that I wanted to share with you. Was someone asked me when my hiatus was gonna be over, and I didn't know. I forgot when I gave it up and when I was supposed to go back on. I've completely sort of lost track of all that, and that's kind of crazy, right? I just haven't noticed, and it's amazing. The hold that it had over me was insane, and I'm glad to be kind of freed of it for now. So I'll definitely have to be intentional about how I reintroduce it and all that kind of stuff. But I thought it was kind of cool to where like I had completely forgotten that I was even doing this. So that's encouraging. Pretty interesting, right? The hiatus was a really eye-opening period for me, and there were three big themes or three big takeaways that really struck me more than anything else. And I want to share those with you because each of them are informing a way that I'm going to be changing my behaviors around social media moving forward. The first thing was that I just recognized how much control that social media had over me. You saw in the video I recorded on the very first day that I had a literal physical reflex to check my social media without giving it any thought whatsoever. And that's a little bit disconcerting, right? Take a second to think about how you engage with social media. When you find yourself on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, are you there because you made a decision to go on that channel, or do you just kind of happen to find yourself there without knowing how you got there? Now that my hiatus is over, I'm going to try to break that cycle by making some very small behavioral changes that I think could go a really long way. One of which is just putting all of my social media apps on the back of my phone. Having to scroll through all my other apps and exert physical effort to access my social media is going to get me into more of a cognizant way of thinking, right? I have to make a deliberate choice and exert physical effort to go onto social media. It may seem kind of dumb to put your social media just like one or two pages back on your phone. There's this really cool book called Switch, which I'll link in the description below, that speaks to how very small environmental changes or very small changes to people's routines can have a really big behavioral impact. So I think something really small like that could actually go a long way. Second thing I noticed was that I spent a lot less time thinking about what other people were thinking of me and being in a comparative mindset. And we've talked about this on the channel before. I think it was our second video together, card up here, link in the description below. But social media can really get you into some problematic ways of thinking. And I'll be honest, it didn't completely go away, right? My desire to be liked extends beyond social media, but it really did reduce it. And I spent a lot less time engrossed in consuming content that was fanning the flames of these problematic ways of thinking. Being offline really freed up a lot of mental energy for me, and that's a newfound luxury that I'm not willing to give up just yet. So I think my biggest concern with coming back is getting back into those ways of thinking that I wasn't happy with. To help combat that, I'm going to be imposing some really strict time limits on the amount of time that I spend on social media. I had done this a little bit before, but didn't really adhere to it super strictly. You can set limits on your phone, by the way. If you have an iPhone, you can put yourself a timeout if you spend too much time on certain apps. And that's definitely something that I want to adhere to really well this time around. Social media is great. There's a lot of great things you can do on it, but after a certain point in time, you're not really doing anything productive or constructive anymore. And so keeping myself out of that environment for excessive periods of time, I think is really going to be impactful for me and keeping me in a healthy mindset as I consume that content moving forward. The third and final takeaway is the biggest one. I feel like I've said it 1,000 times already, but I was just shocked at how little I miss social media and how little I even thought about it. It was such an integral part of my life that I couldn't imagine living without it. I mean, I spent hours a day on social media, and to just give it up, I thought I'd be like counting the days, and I just wasn't. You saw on the videos that I recorded that when someone asked me when I was going back online, I didn't even know. Like, I'd completely forgotten. It just wasn't part of my mindset anymore, and that's really, really crazy. I just haven't felt an urge to come back. I've actually had Instagram on my phone for the past 4 or 5 days now, because I've been using it to message somebody, and that's all I've been using it for. I mean, I haven't opened it since then. I haven't looked at anyone's stories, I haven't posted to my story, I haven't scrolled through my feed, nothing, and it's just so insane to me. So what I would encourage you to do, and this is some wisdom for you to think about how you can change your own social media habits, give a hiatus a try. If a month doesn't feel tangible for you, although I really think it'll be easier than you think, give it a week. Commit to a week without social media and see what happens. I think you'll be really, really surprised with what you find. As happy as I was without social media, there's a part of me that is so glad to be back, to be connected with you all again, to be making new content. There are a lot of videos down the pike that I'm really excited for you guys to see that are different from what we've done in the past. I took this break as an opportunity to kind of rethink the channel a little bit, and I'm super excited to show you what's in store. So make sure you subscribe, hit that bell icon so you get notifications when new videos come out, and share this video with your friends. As always, the more, the merrier. I'll see you next time.